It's Open House Thursday on Your View. Good to have you all joining. I am Tokwe Mark Odige, and I have the ladies YK in the building.
Yo. Good morning, Tokwe. How are you? I love your earrings. I told you earlier.
Honeypot hooked me up. Honeypot totally hooked me up. Yes, Crown Jewelry hooked me up. Let me mention our brand. Honeypot anyway.
Oh, did she dash you?
I bought it, but she's a friend, so we support ourselves anyhow.
This is good. No, I'm not. I feel sorry for Miriam, but you know, Miriam is actually a very beautiful woman because when she got here very late, and I looked at her. I said, "Are you wearing makeup?" She said, "No." I said, "Oh."
As in, her skin was.
She was just looking like she was wearing makeup already. She says, "No." She was rushing. Very fine woman.
Thank you. Oh my God, coming from you, gosh. You know, I actually have I'm hot.
Okay, how have you been doing? You were here on Tuesday. What happened yesterday? Anything happened?
Nothing happened. There's just something that worries me at the shrine, and I don't know if I should mention it on set. You know, because we close our gates at 11:30. We've been told to close by 11:30. But you know, the street is full of people, shops, and they go right up into the night. And I'm just worried that if they come there, they will say it is shrine.
Yes, if anything goes wrong, they will
it's
blame
us
shrine. But you complying with what's going on.
Yes, and it's so worrying for me, and I just don't know what to do about it. I really don't know what to do about it.
Running business in Lagos.
Because what they will do is they will fine us, and we are not to blame.
Yes.
So
Shrine is complying, but they are not complying. So maybe the government needs to find a way to ensure everybody complies with the injunction.
Is there any way you can help them comply, hold them responsible, or enforce it?
Am I a police officer?
No, but sometimes, you know, you just have to help because at the end of the day, the government will hold you responsible. They don't want to do the work to hold them responsible. They hold you. So if you can hold them too, so that.
But how? I would appreciate any good advice you can give.
No, but as you said it, I know we have people in authority that watch the show, and they probably would know how best to deal with what is going on. But it is important that everybody complies with the rules, and if anything goes wrong, the right person gets blamed and not the wrong people. BC, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. I bless God. We started our Valentine sales.
Hey.
So House of BC, here by BC, we're just slashing the prices, a lot of good discounts so that you can have nice things for Valentine.
Did you say hair? Oh yes, do wigs.
Yes, I'm doing Adira t-shirts as well, and they're on sale. So we're doing a lot. I'm not wearing wig, YK. I braided my hair.
No, I did not sell wigs.
You did not even praise
this is the first time I'm seeing you since. No, is it the first time?
And you did not notice?
No, I even wanted to tell you look so fine yesterday. I even love the way you just packed it.
Thank you.
No, I'm sorry that I didn't tell you. You know, because actually you look very fine.
Thank you so much.
Mariam, you have a shout out.
I have a couple.
Oh wow.
I know that YK is like, see, your banter is gone these days. It's just a shout out. But I missed this particular one. She says her name is Halima. She was on our show in 2019. And her son's birthday was yesterday. He was 1 yesterday, and I missed it. And she's saying happy birthday to him. She's in Yobe State. She's not with him. So, and another fan from Berlin says he wants a birthday shout out to his mom, Mrs. Obayonju M.O. Okay. Her birthday is still on the 7th.
Okay.
And then he says, so happy birthday in, what do they say, arrears?
Advance.
In advance. In advance.
This is really affected you today.
No, any other one?
No, that's it.
Okay, so for me, it's not the banter, it's a Thursday motivation. You know, I realize that many people get this feeling of people not supporting you, and we feel like we're not supporting you. Or we feel somebody is supporting somebody else, and I wish I got that support. But I read a quote from someone that the top 10 successful people all said that people didn't believe in them, like the day they don't believe in them, and that they had to go against what was seen as the norm, and that's why they are standing out. So for anybody feeling like you're not getting enough support in whatever you're doing, just understand that it is a trait of successful people. They don't agree with you.
I think you should just skip, because I remember when my brother broke out on his own, he left my father's band, and he got a lot of, you will never succeed, it was terrible, but he persevered.
Exactly.
And you know,
consistency trumps competency anytime. If a competent person gives up, he won't succeed. If a consistent person pushes on
Keeps
through,
going.
he will succeed.
But this your lipstick is shouts.
Oh,
All out, go, all out.
Hey.
All right, today is World Cancer Day. It's a major one. Everybody share the word, share the flyers, use the hashtag, get somebody around you to get checked if they are showing any kind of symptom that might make you think it has cancer. But it's Open House Thursday's gist all the way. Let's go through papers first, and then we enter into the gist. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. We'll be starting the newspaper review with The Nation. Major headline: Can Islamic Council to DSS go after killers, others. Secret police raise alarm on plans to cause ethno-religious violence. And in other news, caretaker leadership in APC abnormal, says Akonde. Abductors kill U.S. returnee after ransom. Protesters block the highway. Mayhem at Kwara APC meeting. Registration begins in Ilori. Governor seeks AK-47 rifle licensing for Nigerians. Gunmen snatch 20 million naira Ekiti government's cash. EFCC quizzes ex-governor Yari for attempting to move 300 billion naira. And Nigeria stock lose 216 billion in 3 days. So, why would governors be seeking AK-47?
Yes, so it was the Benue State Governor, Samuel Otom. He said yesterday that Nigerians should be allowed to carry the AK-47.
Was it the Benue State? Sure?
Yes, that's what's in the Nation this morning. That Nigerians should be allowed to carry the AK-47. Benue State Governor Samuel Otom. So he's saying that the presidency should allow Nigerians carry AK-47. That if Nigerians have guns, when headers come, when headers understand that when they shoot, they will be shot at. You know, they would stop coming to kill people. And that he expected the president to act more, but it seemed like the president was always defending the killer headsmen instead of fighting for the security of his people. And he also mentioned that some people are allowed to carry guns. So, you know, not like they're allowed, but the headers that they have guns already, so there's nothing you can do about it. But if you now give other people who need the guns to protect themselves, things may likely sort out itself.
Escalate.
Yeah.
So cancer causes double.
Yes, of course, we know today is World Cancer Day, and in commemorating the day, World Health Organization Regional Director Dr. Machidi Someti, talked about how the number of cancer cases in the African region has escalated in 20 years from 338,000 cases to 846,000 cases from 2002 to 2020. And he says that most of the common cancers you find in these regions are breast, cervix, prostate, bowel, colon, rectum, and liver. And also says that apart from the COVID-19 pandemic and the challenges that it brought to access to healthcare and to medication, there are cases, Africa suffers from, not able to get early detection, not able to go for cancer screening, proper diagnosis and treatment. So that's why the number in African regions seems to have grown in
just quickly
this time.
And they can...
Oh, yeah, can.
Yeah,
yes,
can,
please.
and the Islamic group have gone after the DSS, and they're asking them to go after the herdsmen, that they keep giving us this news that, they are going to be religious riots, but they are not doing anything since that time that they gave us the last news. When did have there been any arrests? Now they are coming again with another news. Please go after the people. Don't just be giving us
information.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Punch. Major headline: Afenifere Pandef attack Northern Elders Forum over alleged Northerners killings. And then we have pictures of Sheikh Gumi visits Zamfara bandits in forest, appeals for peace. EFCC grills ex-governor Yari over alleged illegal transactions. Suspected headsmen kill OPC member searching for Undo abducted farmer. Federal government approved Jimovia Abacha 18 private universities. Liberals abduct Chinese expatriate, kill police aide in Oshun. One feared dead as hoodlums attack policemen in Lagos. Reps query 5 billion naira import duty waiver to Chinese firm. Can one DSS as agency restate plots on a religious crisis. APC dismisses alleged plan to fill Jonathan in 2023. Oil prices nears $59. That's good. OPEC others optimistic about recovery. Federal government begin process to rebase Nigerian economy. Now, let's take the major headline. Oh, the picture story.
Let me take the picture story. So, Sheikh Gumi, very well known to Nigerians, is a renowned Islamic scholar, and he visited Zamfara State, 2 settlements in Zamfara State, to meet with bandits. In one settlement, he met about 150 of them. In another, he met 600 of them, and it's just to talk about their grievances and how, you know, to move forward and bring peace. Their grievances, these bandits, is that they are being killed without due process followed by government. Cattle rustling is affecting their livelihood as well. And so that's why they are armed. Yes, they become armed bandits because their livelihood, their cattle are being rustled, and so they are losing livelihood. And also, they feel that they are just being killed, you know, without due process.
Oh, wow. They need to process how they get cattle.
Can I finish? Yes. So, also, the local government chairman of Shinkafi has said that they had a peace pact with these bandits, that before the pact, they used to have like constant killings and constant kidnappings, but in 7 months, they haven't had that in that local government area. And so Gumi was there to preach the message of peace and Islam, and saying to them that they will speak to the federal government. And since the federal government found a way to integrate Niger Delta people, those who were involved in all the kidnappings then, he's sure that federal government will be able to extend the same help to these armed bandits. That's the story, as I said. So,
actually,
your opinion?
Yes, I would have loved to ask who is rustling the bandits' cattle. That's one. And I also believe that because I'm going to be taking a story here that still the socio-political groups also had something to say about this. And I'm just feeling everybody is acting victim now. Who do we now believe? So the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, yesterday spoke to different ethnic groups, pleading with them that they should not lord it over one another. What we need right now is dialogue, that everything has to be presented. They come to the round table and everybody will present their case and we find a way to make peace. He also promised that they will be, you know, having legislation that would help solve the problem of insecurity and farmer-header clashes. But the socio-political groups such as PANDEF, Afenifere are saying that the position of the Northern Elders Forum, you know, saying that the Fulani people are being driven out of their settlements and their host communities are not accepting them anymore, that is actually false. That even these headsmen who have been the ones killing women, raping women, going into their farms, destroying their crops, and rustling their cattle. So that's what I'm saying, that everybody's just playing the victim right now.
And the story of ex-governor Yari. So the ex-governor of Zamfara State, which is one of the states where we're having these issues, was found to be trying to move 300 billion naira. So currently is being investigated from the Paris, you know, the Paris refund that was now relooted, the Paris Club refund that was now relooted. Allegedly, 3 million out of the 86 million was suspected to have been put into some slush fund accounts, and they found out that he was trying to take the funds out through a company name. They didn't mention the bank. They didn't mention the company.
Allegedly.
No. He was trying to move it. He's being investigated. He was called for questioning by EFCC, but they just did not tell us the bank and the company that was being used to move this money. The fact that it is Paris Club fund is allegation because it's still being investigated. It hasn't been convicted from that. Yes.
Allegedly.
I just wanted to, because of this insecurity that we're talking about, there was this guy that was killed. He became a police informant, and then he went to Bejuleki to go and point out the criminals. And as he was pointing out, he was with the police. As he was pointing to one of the suspects, they just opened fire
on him.
The police took to their heels, caught him, beat him, and then took him away. They think he's dead. They haven't seen him yet. But this is part of the insecurity we're talking about. How do they have guns?
How do they have that kind of guns? Moving on to Nigerian Tribune. No ethnic group should lord it over the other. That's from Badabia Mila. Ibadan Correctional Facility rejects suspects without COVID-19 test results. Federal Capital Territory Task Force truncates NSITF promotion exams. Violence rocks Kwara APC stakeholders meeting. Are we taking that story back? You say you don't understand it. Kaduna to deliver drugs with drones to over 1,000 health facilities. You want to see how that works? Go. Local headsmen hiding identity of criminals as investors. Crude oil worth $20 billion not accounted for between 2005 and 2012. Let the bygones be bygones. Let's move on. Gumi meets bandits in Zamfara forest. 500 have repented, he says. Repeated APC membership registration unnecessary. That's from Akonde. 2023, no plans to fill Jonathan's. That's from APC. The Federal Executive Council approves 20 private universities. So,
I have the local headsmen hiding identities of criminals. So the President Igongo Agro Park Investors Association, Femi Abioye, is accusing local Fulani in Igongo area of Ibarapa land of, aiding the foreign bandits. So according to him, he said that they usually come in and then the Fulani, the legal Fulani headers who are in the community hide their people because, first of all, they are soft targets for the bandits. The bandits, threaten to kill them if they mention their name. And some of them have whispered to them that they actually know these bandits, but they are afraid to mention their name because a Fulani man does not call out a Fulani man. Wow. And as a result of this, they have lost 400 million in investments. People are no longer coming into the village to invest in their farms. People are pulling out. About 15 investors have left already because it seems like there's a collaboration now going on between the bandits and the Fulani headers in the town.
Yeah, so Kaduna has gone into partnership with Zipline. Zipline is the first world drone service where they would transport like medicines, vaccines to different areas and their communities. And they're going to be working from 3 centers. They have 3 distribution centers. They'll be working 24/7. And to deliver more than 1,000 facilities, 7 million of people across Kaduna State. And these are medicines, either routine medicines or emergency medicine. So this is groundbreaking. Yes, and I hope it works perfectly and other states can.
Final paper for today, Daily Sun, major headline, Headmen community clash, tension, anxiety in Oyo, Ogun, Edo, Abia states. And then one story we haven't taken, government killed 4 more POS operators in Aba. What's going on in Aba?
Yeah, so there's bandits actually are killing POS operators in Aba. A few days ago, they killed about 3 of them, and they went back again and killed another 4. And most of the cashiers who are really operating the POS are closing shops and running away because there's no security for them anymore. But the government, the police, has said they are investigating. They are going to fish out these bandits.
As some people have died. POS are places where people can get cash in all those places.
One story that we didn't take, that American returnee that was killed.
Very sad. Very, very sad. The ransom was paid and yet he was killed.
They said he was even killed before the ransom was paid. They said when they kidnapped them, he fell down, he was scared, and so they shot him because he was going to hamper their movements.
Wow.
Apparently his wife was among the kidnapped, and 2 of their colleagues. Very, very sad story.
It's really sad. The insecurity wears different names.
I'm telling you.
Bandits, Boko Haram, Niger Delta, military, whatever it is, the point is we have major crimes ongoing in different parts of this country. That's what we can take in front page review for today. When we return, we'll try and lighten up the mood with a few gists. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back to the show. Thanks for staying with us. According to reports, a man is deeply pained after finding out his wife has lots of properties in her name and in the kid's name without his knowledge. He confronted his wife about this. She threw the fact that he impregnated a co-worker years ago into his face. His sadness is that he realized that his wife hasn't really forgiven him after he had begged for this forgiveness after all these years. He is also angry with the fact that despite the efforts from all family members, that his wife resigns from the job she is currently doing and become a full-time housewife, that's where she wouldn't earn so much money. It has fallen on deaf ears. The woman has refused to resign and become a full-time housewife. He says that the woman that he sent to school has grown wings. Do you think the wife is right to keep her job? Do you think the wife is right to have investments in her name and her kid's name without telling the husband? What do you think should be his response to this situation, and how would you advise this couple? Join the conversation by tweeting to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view. Of course, if you can't, go to our Facebook page and you can send lengthier messages, we'll go through them. So when I read this, I was like, this is not a story now. Like, what are we saying? But then I tried to wear the man's shoes and imagine that, how would this man be feeling when he finds out this kind of thing? So I have a different perspective now. But let me first hear from you before throwing in my own opinion. YK, what did you think when you saw this? You've lived many more years, so I'm sure you've heard stories like this. What was your first?
You see, I think as a woman, once you start to hide things from your husband, you are getting property in your name, your marriage has broken down. Why are you staying? You are independent. Now, I believe that women should work if they want to and have their own independence. I cannot be a woman that will just be saying yes, yes, sir, yes, sir to somebody. I have to have my own money.
Money for matches. Money for gas.
You know, I mean, those days have passed. When you ask your husband for everything, one day he's going to wake up and look at you and say, which kind of woman are you, safe? You know? So, but having said that, I will not hide what I have from my husband. Once I have to hide what I have from my husband, I better go and live on my own. That's my own. So he should just forget about that marriage.
But YK, sometimes we hide. Okay, so I was just caught for hiding something, and I usually don't hide. So it now seems like
you're changing. So that's what you've always done.
And I usually don't hide. No, he knows I usually don't. But you know I don't usually hide. This I wanted to surprise you. I wanted to gather the money and it's be substantial, and then I'll just surprise you and say, I've actually been saving something. It didn't work. It didn't work. I didn't like it, and I could see from his face. We haven't discussed it since, but I knew that it would make him start questioning other things, you know. So I get what you're saying, YK, but sometimes everybody around keeps saying something different, which is keep something for yourself, but then we need to balance it into saying, depending on your spouse. But I want to hear back to this one, especially considering that this woman apparently had reasons to feel a bit of, let me also, you did something.
You've broken my trust.
Yes, you've broken my trust. So okay, maybe she's trying to protect herself.
I wouldn't, so let this not look like I'm making a case. I want to make a case for this woman, but let it not look like I'm exonerating what she has done. I know that every woman out there wants to put in their best in their marriage. That I know. We have some bad ones, but we know that every good woman wants the best. Every good woman wants the family to grow. Every good woman would, you know, work, save, you know. At the end of the day, we use all the resources for the husband and the children just to, you know, we're supposed to be working together. It's a partnership between two couples. That is for the good woman. Now, when a woman gets to a point where she starts hiding, and starts doing some small, fishy things, is because either her trust has been broken or something deep has happened where she's beginning to question her stand in the man's life. And the default when that happens is for you to want to protect yourself. So that if anything happens, at least I'll have something to fall back on. We've had stories of marriages that collapsed and then the women were left with nothing. So the woman wants to start protecting herself. But aside from that, like this particular story now that talked about the fact that the man had cheated before. We do not know the details of that cheating. And then he's apologized and he's feeling like, but you have forgiving me now. You should have forgiven me now. I can forgive you, but then change my methods with you. So trust is different from love. I can still love you after you've messed up and I've said, okay, I've forgiven you. But it will be wise for me to ask myself, do I still want to start relating with you the way I've related with you? Or should I sort of find security for myself somehow? Because the truth is, you may decide to cheat again. This one is cheating. Tomorrow it will be that you have like 3 kids outside and I don't know. So, you know, I'm not exonerating her, but I feel we really need to understand. If somebody does not tell you exactly what she is going through, you would not know. So
you know, I just want to say something to Abel. You know, but you know that is communication breakdown. Once your communication has broken down, marriage don't finish.
I know the communication may still be there, but you still want to protect yourself. I don't see anything wrong in.
Go on, I'll tell you my mother's experience. Go
okay, so for me, clearly it's a breakdown in trust and confidence in the partners and in their marriage. And I understand that when someone has betrayed you, you try to find ways to protect them yourself. And with many women, where you'd hear and are even encouraged, even before there's a breakdown in trust or there's a betrayal, you're asked, as you mentioned, put something aside, you know, take care of yourself. If it's money aside, if it's don't love fully, you know, you know how men can be. You too, you know, you're being groomed to sort of keep a part of you that would not be affected by the things that may happen in your marriage that would affect you. And so I think that is why we have a lot of marriages where, you know, Waiki, you said you have a marriage, but it's not truly a marriage, because the marriage is supposed to be 2 people coming together, agreeing together, you know, have a purpose, and they're supposed to be open with each other, you know, to a large extent. And you are unable to trust this person. Maybe you're unable to love the person as you used to, unable to communicate the way you should, unable to share your finances, or, you know, maybe it's not asking for your finances, but unable to share the where you put finances. And I always say that when it comes to men, when they find themselves in a situation where they think that there's a breakdown in trust and confidence, they tend to want to move on and leave. But women would want to create different alternatives of the marriage. Yes. And so you find women who are bitter, who are angry, who are, in this case, hiding stuff from, you know, from each other. I think I definitely understand where she's coming from. To have that sort of betrayal, you've heard stories of, oh, this happened to your mother, this happened to your grandmother, and your father all of a sudden just disappeared, and before we knew it, had a whole new family, and now she's left with nothing. So if you come from a Nigerian society as a woman, you would have heard that and been given that advice over and over again. But going forward for a marriage, I think it works best if the communication lines are open.
Because when I was growing up, I heard that all the time. Keep something aside. Don't let your husband know everything you have. Don't kiniko. But I watched my mother. Now, my mother, she had her family was from Lagos. They had a lot of property in Lagos. So she used to earn money from her father's estate. And every time she got the money, she would give the check to my father. My father had money. My father would take the check, remove some, and give her the rest. Because she didn't have an account. So he would, my father had plenty of women. He wasn't even married to 27 women then. But my mother was totally in love with my father. Totally. And she would still give him that money. He would still remove some that he didn't need and blow and give her the rest. And she still did it. And she did it. And she did it. And when it came to a time when there was a breakdown, she didn't have a nest egg. She didn't have money she had saved. But she still survived. She moved out, got a place.
Like, and this your story, eh?
Wait, listen.
How did she survive? Who helped her?
She had an uncle. Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. Now, she moved out. By this time, my father now came. Remy, you have moved out. Kiniko. And he was shocked. Yeah. But when you are pushed to the wall, you will find a way to survive.
Okay. So
let me finish. Okay. When you are pushed to the wall, you will find a way to survive. So she survived. By now, we were even grown up. I had a job. So we could all start to put in. she still gave her all to her husband. When her husband died, her husband died interstate. 3/4 of his property went to her.
Okay, so if he didn't die interstate, what if he had a will and he now said he was going to share all the property equally between all 27 wives he married and all the children?
I'm sure he purposely died interstate. My father was a very brilliant man.
He could have written a will, right?
He could have written. They tried to force him to write a will and he refused.
Okay,
so purposely, that was his own payment. Listen, that was his own payment to her.
I hear you.
My own is that if I know that my own a relationship, I can't tell my husband everything. I don't have husband, yo.
Okay, and to an extent, I agree with you, you know, but our society also wants to keep the marriage together. And when if you say walk out of that relationship, that you don't feel, you tell some men have. They think women are people that are loose with their secrets. Some men are actually loose with their secrets. Anything you tell them, the entire world will hear about it. If you're married to such, but there are other benefits to him, you might try to hide. So what I'm trying to find out from you is this: your story is good. It had ups and downs like life usually, but would it work in all situations? No. And we must be able to give women viable options. And when things come out like this, what are the options we would give that couple? Obviously, the man wants to remain in this marriage. But his conditions, do you think they are reasonable?
Very harsh.
How can the conditions the man is giving right now is that... Let's talk about the condition. Okay, yes. Let's deal with the condition. So this man is saying that his condition for this marriage to continue after this distrust and after is that is because you have money that you can go and build houses in your name and in your children's name. Oh yeah, stop the job and come and become full-time housewife. And he has refused. So is it right for the man to have asked for the woman to stop?
He's a wicked man. He's wicked. You know, I always say this when we talk about marriage is that we should marry our friends. You should be in a relationship with your friend. Your friend will want to see you grow. Your friend understands that what you bring to the house is for both of you. You have broken that trust. She has done things for herself and your children.
Yes, so
even if you don't get it, you know, directly, your children are getting it. Men also do the same. You make all this money, the wife is a housewife, and you put things in place for the children. A woman does not say, well, you have betrayed my trust, so that job, come home, we'll sit together in the house. You know, we don't do that. We don't even expect it. So for him, clearly, and that for me even makes it understandable, she clearly knows her husband. So that's why she has been keeping things aside. If he's the sort of person that will tell her, stop your job, then...
Okay, so but BC, I think Mariam already mentioned that sometimes it reverses the case where the average responsible man wouldn't even put properties in his own name.
Yeah.
He will put properties in the name of his wife and children. So the obvious issue here is that it was done secret. It was a secret. That's the issue. So how would you advise?
Okay, so for me, I think it's very important that we understand who we are married to. I have an auntie who the husband is a fraud. The husband dupes her. They are actually building a house, and the husband will collect money and squander it.
You tell me that entire story.
Okay.
Let's quickly go on a break. Right. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, so BC was giving us a story about
a relative.
Yeah, sorry I used auntie. I've been warned. But this person I know realized that the husband was a fraud. They are trying to build a house, and then anytime he came out, the man, let me handle it, let me handle all of your finances. And when they give him money to pay for the blocks and buy the roof and buy whatever it is, he will squander the money, and the house is still at one level till the woman found out. And till today, she's not able to put herself together to say, okay, I really need to finish this building. She's still giving the man money. So that's one on one side. Now, the second point for me is there are a lot of women who have understood their men. There are men who are jealous of their women, of their wives. There are men who do not want their wives to succeed more than them. There are men who are very miserly. They will give to family. They will not give to their wife. Now, if you find yourself in that situation, how do you protect yourself? That's one. Now, you talked about, your mommy's story now. That's YK. And she was able to find herself because she had a family support. There are people, like some people that I know, who, if anything happens to them, there is no 50 cover from any family member coming out. In that, if you find yourself as a woman in that situation, how do you protect yourself? Do you want to wait till God now finally sends help? People try as much as possible to help themselves the best way that they can without having to rely on somebody else or being so vulnerable that you are now completely begging when something happens. So to avoid that begging, you see, what I say to people is, you see those people that don't know how to beg for things, they know how to work very hard. Because they know that if anything happens, nobody's coming to my rescue. I shouldn't eat with my 2 hands. I should keep something, because if anything happens, there is nobody that would come to my rescue.
I agree with you. What I'm saying is, if I have to save, I will tell you.
And if I collect it from you,
I think I understand.
I get why he's saying that. I will tell you I'm saving that you don't have access to it.
Simple.
Do you understand? I am saving this money, you don't have access to it. But you see, the truth is, there's no money I have that if he needs, he cannot collect.
If I save money, and you tell me you want my money by force, you have to kill me to collect the money.
Not every woman
because
has
listen,
that power.
They're not strong enough. Not all women are strong enough.
That's why I said that the marriage is broken down.
So
to me.
Why can I think I get
And many
you.
marriages
Why
are in
can
that
he
space.
say? Why can he saying that it's either it's a marriage that works or it's not a marriage at
That-
all?
yeah.
Who
But
determines
what
what
we're saying,
works?
both of you.
And-
See, two of them are in this marriage, they can be there for the next 50 years. And
That's
they're
what,
Okay,
so
so-
that's what Wike is
So
saying.
it's working for them.
No, that's
No.
what Wike is
Wike
saying.
is saying that if you're hiding,
if there's
if
no
you're
trust, if there's no
scheming,
communication, if there's no love,
then
if
you're
scheming,
not married.
then
That is
that's not
Wike's
true.
definition of marriage. To those people, this is the best way.
So let me throw in this
That's what we're
question.
saying, there are different types of
Yes,
marriages.
let me throw in this question. Obviously, trust is broken down. Can you be married without trust? Must you trust the person you love? And must you love the person you trust? I think, okay, let's just deal with, must you trust the person you love? And is trust essential?
Prerequisite.
A prerequisite for marriage to work?
Okay, I would say that love and trust are two different things. We like to put them together when it comes to cases of marriage and relationship, but they are two different things. Love, you can choose to love somebody, or the love falls upon you. Like somebody says, I fell in love, and all of that, and the feelings are there and everything, and you now decide, okay, I want to love this person. But trust is earned. You have to earn that trust. Now, you can be in love with somebody, and the person hasn't earned your trust. The person keeps doing things that keeps pulling you back. Like you're trying to get to know this person and understand this person.
Wouldn't that affect your love?
They break. The love can be there. I've seen people who have been in love. Like, leave this guy now. I can't leave this guy. I really love him. But they don't trust the guy. They understand.
That's love is blind.
Yes, so they understand that this guy will mess me up anytime.
Yeah.
But they're still there. They're still loving. They're still giving their all.
Is that not stupidity?
No. It is. Because, because those two elements are totally different. Now, because...
But they should be together for things to work.
Most of those ones, the man will not marry them. And even if the man marries them...
No, I'm talking about marriage, Joe.
You're talking about marriage.
Yes.
So if I decide to stay with a man that I don't trust, anything I collect there is my own... It's my own shalala.
They are not coming.
There's nothing. If I don't trust you and I stay with you, anything that I receive,
So,
I
Mariam,
deserve it.
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You know, there are marriages in Nigeria, especially in this our climate. Maybe not in Western world. When you both, there's a love. You know, if I don't trust you, it's over.
It's Hollywood.
Yes, it's Hollywood. Okay, we both to do it.
Now know the difference.
But in Nigeria, in our climate, we have cases where a woman will say, "I know he carries Sade on Monday. I know he sleeps in Silewa's house on Wednesday, but if I want to travel, I do first class.
Yeah.
Every 2 years, I get brand new cars. I buy every designer I want. I'm good.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants to do. The marriage works for me.
Yeah.
Their marriage.
So, in that case, obviously, she knows she's married to a DOG. And she has decided that, I'll take care of myself, you take care of me, I'm good. So how do we, in what category, why can men know that I'm married to a DOG, but she's good in other areas and let it go?
No,
why is it that women have accepted it to a large extent? The average woman in many marriages around us have accepted that their husbands, I know people that they say, the man goes on vacation, and he and his family will be in first class, and babe is in business
class.
Yes. And the wife is aware, and they're okay.
Okay, so they're different. That's what we say about different types of marriages.
Different strokes for
So
different
we have
folks.
we have what the marriage should be,
Like they don't be
ideally.
shacking
The
you.
communication lines are open, the trust is there, and when there's a betrayal, there's
Respect.
forgiveness, and there's moving on. But then we also understand that because of the realities of life, people have come up with their different types of marriages. So a woman may say that, I know my husband is sleeping around, but he provides this. So her trust is in the financial
security.
And when he's unable to continue to provide her financial security,
we have a problem.
You will hear the fight. She will not fight over the woman, but she will fight over what she believes that he's supposed to give her. Men also do the same thing. Men would marry some people for their looks or for the influence that they have, but it does not stop them from taking care of themselves out there. Not because, you know, so they too, like, okay, she has the looks, but she doesn't cook well. So they go to a Tilewa who cooks and,
well.
you know, may not look presentable to, you know, to come on outing with her.
We'll take a quick break right now. When we come back, we'll continue with the topic. Could there be love where there is no trust? Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So the question still remains, YK, could there be love without trust?
Well, they say there can be love without trust.
They said.
They say
You said.
you are saying.
No, I don't. I'm hosting today. I'm neutral.
If I don't trust you,
They're two different things.
I'm gone.
Okay.
Because I like to sleep with my two eyes closed. I don't want to sleep with one eye open. I don't want to have to. If I want to build my house, I will tell you I'm building my house. And if you don't like it, waka. But you know.
Yeah.
You can't tell me to leave my job. Now, look at this woman. Let's look at her scenario. The guy cheated and had a kid outside. Horrible for her. Did she forgive him? In her heart, she didn't. But she pretended to forgive him.
No, she might have forgiven, but she just feels like...
She just changed her methods.
Yeah.
She changed her method. He now found out. And he said, no. Look, instead of, if I can't forgive you, I can say, okay, I will forgive you, but I won't forget. So I'm going to build my house. I'm going to build my houses. If you are hiding that kind of thing from your husband, what can't you hide? You will hide your affairs. That means she's having affairs. It's true. Me, I can't live like that. I have to be honest. Okay? That affair you had the other day.
YK?
Me, I must have my own face. Before, yes.
But that's not reality.
I'm just telling you, that's me.
So that's
there's
the
an
way
answer
she wants
for
to.
YK for this year. They say
on
Mr. PJ comedian says, in marriage you don't do tit for tat. If your husband offends you and begs for forgiveness and you have given it, just let it go. Move on. Once you begin to think, I want to do him or her back, then there's an even bigger problem. It's bad to be in a marriage with that mindset.
But the memories of the hurt linger. Sometimes you forgive it, but you remember.
I bring children that you have to do DNA for.
Sometimes you forgive, but you still remember. You know, there was a story that broke. It was in the papers about a man that found out that he found out 3 of his kids, his first marriage. All the kids from his first marriage were not his. And he said he had to subject, and I had to read that again, that he felt bad that he subjected his second wife to the same DNA test for his second set of children.
First set of children.
To confirm that those were now his. Because after he found out that the first set of kids from the first wife were not his own,
3 of them were not his.
He now had to do it to the second one. But, you know, in that case, it might seem like you are not trusting me. But the wife could understand why the trust needed to be won, because he's been betrayed by a former wife.
The brain of a human being is the most powerful tool.
You can forgive and forget.
The brain.
Why can you forgive and forget? The memories would linger. You can choose to disregard it when it comes.
Look, once something has entered your brain, there is nothing. It's work.
To clear.
It is work to clear. It's not.
Let's take another angle.
Even phone. When you wipe phone clear, there are some computer experts that can enter inside and bring out the secrets.
Yeah, so I want
how much more human brain
mention so that we don't lose this in the conversation, that trust is the foundation of every relationship. Trust actually precedes love. You know, when things are ideal, when everything is ideal, we are getting to an ideal relationship, the trust should precede love. You have to love somebody that you trust. And when you have trust in a relationship, you have a healthier relationship. And so even when love fails, because at the end of the day, sometimes the love will fly out of the window, depending on the circumstances, it's the trust that you have for each other that will keep you. See people who are living as friends. They no longer have those mushy feelings that they felt initially. It's gone. But they can trust each other. They can, you know, help each other. They are one because there's trust. So trust is actually heavier than love.
Trust is very important for marriage to work.
To the relationship.
But Mariam said something that felt like it was Rema. Mariam said you can decide to trust his ability to financially support you because you know that you cannot trust him to be faithful. So some women will trust that anyhow this man will take care of me. So that's still trust, but you don't. We've compartmentalized
the trust
where you are trusting in the relationship.
Trust is relative. If my husband is cheating on me left, right, and center, and he come and meets me, I trust that he's going to have affairs, so I'm trusting him.
Oh my God! Let me take another angle. There's another side of this story I want to take. So some women tend to give up on their dreams and aspirations to support their spouses. Some men also think that when women achieve a layer of success, they no longer become submissive because they have now become successful. So the question is, culturally, do women have enough support for their spouse to go for their dreams? And do we culturally accept women that pursue their dreams vigorously and succeed? Like, do we have that ecosystem here?
No, I think culturally or traditionally, a woman is expected to, when she gets to her husband's house, to drop everything and cater to him and build a family. And her success is seen that way, like see how well she's done as a wife and as a mother. And so that's why you find many people who are successful, women who are doing so well, top of their careers, you know, intelligent, smart women who are miserable because that marriage isn't there that completes the success. Or you have people who say, you're not married, no matter how successful you are, no matter how intelligent you are, they throw in the fact that you're married. Yeah, so you're married. But there's a new generation of women that I'm seeing that are pursuing their dreams, and also a new generation of men that are encouraging their women and supporting their women to pursue their dreams, because they understand that in fulfilling her purpose, in chasing her dreams, in being successful and being happy, it reflects on the whole family, you know, as a whole. So
we'll talk more about men that are supporting their spouses and how men can support their spouses better, or how spouses can support each other better when we come back after this break. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. So, a new generation is, we're having a new generation of very successful women that are happily married. But they are very few as compared to the ocean of men that are bickering, like the story we took, which is surprisingly a true story. It wasn't fiction. So this man found out his wife could afford to build houses, and his reaction is to say, stop work. I sent you to school, and now you have grown wings. It's a bit surprising that we still have men in that space, and there are a lot of them. So what do we tell them?
Okay, for me, I think it's about education and opening up of your mindsets to understanding that this marriage is a partnership, and we are all playing for the same team. So your success is my success. We are in team A. If you are the one that's making all the money, you are the one bringing everything in, and I'm there to support by raising the children, it's still the same team A. We are winning together. If I'm the one who God has decided to bless, because sometimes it's not the man that gets the physical blessing, the blessing comes on the woman, financial blessing comes on the woman. If I'm the one that God has decided to bless, we are on the same team. And it's about learning to carry each other along. So you understand that the man naturally feels, I'm the one who is meant to protect, I'm the one who's meant to provide. And then as a woman that is successful and is doing better than the husband, it's your job to make him understand that we're in this together. It's your job not to put him down, especially in public. It's your job to understand where he's coming from. It's your job. See, if he's normal friendship, hold on. No. If it's normal friendship we are doing, not consign me. If you want jealous, you not consign me. But as the fact that we are in marriage together, and I sometimes, okay, let me give you an instance. I remember when I lost my job as a classroom teacher, and I stayed at home for 5 years doing nothing. I constantly felt like I was not bringing in anything. I felt like I was not living. I felt like all the responsibility was just on my husband. I was always feeling, from time to time, or like 6 months, I would just be depressed. And then he would now remind me that, baby, we are in this together. It's not my money, it's not your money, it's our money. So if it's coming from here and it's coming from here, it's okay. If it's coming from one, it's for a reason. Your own will start coming and you join it. He kept doing the job, and I knew it was hard for him because sometimes he'll come back home and he'll see me, I'm crying, I'm sad, I feel like the world has ended, I've not earned money in how many years, being somebody that likes to do something. So it was his job to keep telling me, the money is ours.
Because I'm happy you're sharing this story, because most of the time we share stories of the woman being the one to boost the man up, you know, and we neglect the times when the men are also boosting the women up. And I'm happy you highlighted that part. But YK, from the benefit of age and the experiences you've had around you, would you say that you're seeing men becoming more supportive of their spouses being more financially strong?
Now,
I think so. I think men are understanding that women want to work. It's not have to. If I want to, it's different from, you know, there are relationships where the woman has to work. So that
balance the house.
Then there is the situations where the woman wants to. The husband's money is enough for both of them. Now, there's some, I will bring this one, my daughter and her husband. My daughter has a good job. Her husband is an author, has a good job. They're both earning. So but her husband wants her to stop working, so she will stay at home and look after the kids. And
She doesn't
problem.
She does. She's thinking about it, but she has her mother who is saying,
You mean after all this?
all the money I spent on your school, you now want to be sitting at home.
Oh, I can't believe you just said that. Oh, no, I can't believe you just said that.
I trained you abroad. I'm just going to
buy car.
Jankara
I
school.
couldn't have money to buy car, so I will tell you now you are going to be sorry. And she said she's leaving her job. And the husband is looking at me like that kind of mother that is I'm independent and I don't want my daughter to be dependent. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm an independent woman. So I'm not trying to weigh it. You know, if that's what she wants to do, she has to do it.
It's okay. Yeah.
You know, and now she can work from home. Okay. So she doesn't have to leave the job.
Yeah.
And I'm happy. And the husband say, see your mother. See your mother.
No, but I can understand where you're coming from. And I think it helps to give perspective to when parents are watching who their spouse, their child marries, because they also know that I've invested so much. Literally, YK, I was exercising and I met a man this morning, and I told my husband that I met a new friend today when I exercised, and he said, I said, his name is Sonny. He said, oh, I said, when I mentioned, like, how old his kids are, I said, oh, he's old. I said, so you thought he was a young man, you know? Like, but that's aside the point. The conversation we had was that he has 3 kids, and all 3 boys are studying abroad. And he said, that's a huge pressure to know that you're sending money, you know, that kind of thing. Constantly. And my conversation was that every term, it's like you're buying a land. Yeah. Literally, your school fees, the average parent whose child is going to a good school, every term you could buy a land with the money you pay for the school fees. Mm-hmm. So if a parent is doing that for like 21 years, that parent has the right to ask that this my investment must not become a full-time housewife cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah, so I agree.
Actually, what's important to that parent should just be,
yes, I want you to be happy, but I want you to be happy, but I also want you to be productive. Yes, I want you to use what I have invested in you well.
But there's something that Grace is always saying, that you give birth to a person, you don't give birth to a human being. So there comes a time when you hands off.
We human beings, what do we want?
Exactly.
What do we? We are confused because this is the same me that sat down here and said, If a man come and look after me and I don't have to work, I'll be very happy.
In actual fact, you want to work.
Because you're finished working, that's why you're saying it now.
Then I'm telling my daughter, no, go and work and get money. You know, we are confused.
So yes, we
people.
are. Yes, we are. And that is not, we're not confused. We are complex. We're not confused. We're complex. We want everything. And it is tough for us to decide on making the sacrifices when necessary. So I want something for me, but if my husband tries it, I don't want it. I don't want my husband to come in the morning and tell me that I met one girl when I was exercising. I'll be like...
But you just met somebody.
But I just met... So that's the... We're complex.
No, we are selfish. We are not complex. We're just selfish.
Okay. You keep using negative words. You say confused, I say complex. Now you're saying selfish again.
It has to be.
Yeah, change it to selfless.
That means selfless. But bringing it into this...
If your husband came back and told you, don't think about it. That fight, we'll still be fighting it.
And that's why I did not collect his bank
Should
number.
have made it.
I just did not collect, as I said deliberately, but I felt we had a good conversation while exercising.
You are a bad girl. Why are you talking to men on the streets?
Why, Kay? This story is about me. Don't make me the center of this show, I beg. I'm telling you. But
I'm going to call Mr. Makodike personally.
I already confessed to him this one.
Is there something we can learn from the young generation?
Okay, so obviously I feel that another thing is when you say young generation, are you calling us?
Yes.
Yes.
We,
So I wanted
that
to
you know
say
that we have the support of our spouses to do what we want to do, and you know.
It's a bit surprising when people tell me that, oh, your husband is so wonderful, your husband supports you. You need to thank your husband. And I'm wondering, like, was he supposed to lock me in the house?
Yes, he was supposed to.
Some women, that's their experience.
Yeah.
And we must appeal to men that are doing that.
For those that get spousal support, you know, emotionally, financially, every other way, we take it for granted. We had 2 women who had fertility issues, and one through surrogacy, another through,
adoption
IVF and adoption.
IVF,
And both of them were talking about the support that they got from their husbands to be able to do that. And one has a foundation, and one of the challenges women who want to get, you know, help that way is that the husbands do not agree, do not support them. But I am seeing many men who are taking pride in what their women are doing and standing up. That's why I think the conversation concerning putting your mother aside when marriage comes, in your marriage is just the 2 of you. I think that's why that conversation is so present now. Almost everywhere you hear it, because men are beginning to understand that you and I, we are the team, and then what we want, we push for it in spite of whoever our loved ones are that do not agree with it. So men are finding such great pride in who their wives are. People will use the example of the current vice president of America.
Kamala meets destiny.
Yeah, and that her husband is
her husband resigned from his job to become the second gentleman, and that is the height of support. But Pastor Itwa Ighodalo mentioned at the conference, the Quiverful conference, the lady that you were talking about, infertility conference, they had Pastor Itwa, and Pastor Itwa said that, and I asked the question that Pastor Itwa, what did you feel like when you were opting for adoption? How did you break the news to your family that you were going to be doing adoption? And his answer was, I am a man of my own. My wife is a woman of her own. Our family wanted to adopt, and we adopted.
Simple. You don't have to take permission from any
at the core of it, members. I think we need to help men and women become complete human beings that have confidence in themselves, so that you will not be intimidated by your spouse's success, because you know that if I want to, I can, and if it doesn't happen for me, I am happy it is happening for my spouse. Whether the spouse is male or female. Women do that. Women usually traditionally are proud of their successful men. So I think that we're now raising a generation of men that are proud of their successful wives, that flaunt their wives everywhere. And I think that should be the focus.
There are men that even prefer to be house husband. You haven't heard of them.
These days, YK, these days.
I'm not sure I want that one.
They want to stay at home.
It's not confusion, it's just complexity. I don't want that one.
They marry rich people. I don't want to suffer in my life.
So let me just stay there.
I don't want to hustle.
Call Popsy now and tell him to sort this out. We'll be telling
so there are men like that today. I think,
and then we're having it.
If you are a poor woman, the man will not even marry you.
Thank you.
These days,
yes, so right.
But also with that, I don't really like it, because now we have a generation of women and men when they are dating that will be like, when we want to rent the house, we will split it 50-50.
That's how they do in the Western world now. You people
And
want to copy everything.
Yeah.
Copy well.
But if you need that, if you come from the family that needs to pull both resources together, you do it.
Fine.
But it's different. So the kept men and the men who would target a rich girl to be with her so they will be kept, they're different from the men we're talking about that support their wives.
Yes,
we're not talking of opportunists here or parasites, you know. We're talking of people who are working hand in hand with their women.
This is the complexity. Because you have called the men that want a woman that will look after her as parasites.
Now we call women to gold diggers. It's the same thing.
Now,
If I want a man to look after me, I'm not a parasite.
No, when you target,
No, but why can't
when your target is only for what you can get from the person, not what you can give to the person. It's parasitic.
Yes, it is. And very rarely, even the women that we call full-time housewives are not parasitic.
No, they're not.
They actually go a long way in providing comfort in the home that provides ease of
They give you peace.
Yes, they
so
give
that
you
you can
peace
make
at
money
home.
outside.
Raise the children, do all of that.
I think those women are very commendable. I think they're to me, they earn my highest respect. Because looking after children, I just looked after my 2 grandchildren. I nearly ran mad. Looking after children 24/7, man. And then they will be washing clothes, cooking,
cleaning.
Make sure when you get home, there's I admire those women.
Other room activities.
Even though I can't do it. Those women.
I mean, remember, we used to hear about Calabar women that when their husbands come back, they take off their shoes and their socks and give them a massage first before they now lay all the food.
I know it's a huge task, honestly, and I applaud those that are able to do it because it is a whole lot of work. Even I sometimes I'm like, can you just 1 minute? Okay, just 1 minute. Like, just don't mommy me for 1 minute. And that is the life some people live 24/7. And so they should be celebrated. Concerning this couple that we started this conversation around, our words, what would be your conversation to family members and people that want to advise them and even them directly? How should the woman take it? If anybody is in that space where your husband just found out that you have betrayed his trust at a scary level of building houses, and you're wondering, how do I deal with this? What would you tell the person to do?
No, start from the beginning. Now, he betrayed her trust and then
don't just
start from the middle of the story.
Yes, her trust was betrayed. At that point, I would have told him that, Oga, I will be looking after myself. That house, I will build it. If you like, go and begin outside. Because I don't want you to go and give my money to your outside child. So I will,
put it on the table.
You will make it open. Yes, I will make it open. Okay. I'm not saying that I will not go and work or I will not I will do it, but you will know. And there's something you can do about it. That we will still trust each other. Because you know what I'm doing and I know what you can do.
Okay.
I think it's important that they have a conversation. So building a house is a very huge secret. At what point were you planning this?
Not that huge. If you know how many people build these secret houses.
Are you serious? Buying the house, buying cement, and he did not suspect at all. For me, it's very huge.
Let me show you this building now. You don't have to carry it on your head.
Let me tell you this story of my friend. He married this woman. And then he had money. He was earning the rented house, I think Banana Island or something. Then he got broke. Do you know what the woman did? She didn't do anything. She just built house or bought house. One day he came home, the house was empty. She had moved.
I left him.
That's wickedness.
That's wickedness. We don't want wicked men or wicked women.
Have a conversation. Just make it open.
Pray about it.
Mariam, I cannot believe you do this.
Yeah, pray about it.
But I think it is important that, one, we, of course, everything, we're out of the show. We're out of the show.
And there's so many nice tweets.
To all the tweeters.
Can I take one last tweet? One tweet. Morake says, 85% of men are jealous of successful women. Women keep financial secrets away from men because men can easily betray you. For example, Jesus was betrayed by a man. Forgiveness is preached when a man cheats, but when a woman cheats, she's chastised.
Because the man is a wicked man. How on earth should he instruct his wife to stop work? Marriage is far different from destiny. You can't catch someone's destiny. Oh, who knows what the man is doing outside the marriage? Women need to save.
Okay. So, at the end of the day, communicate, pray, and most importantly, find peace within yourself. Find peace and joy. That's what we can take on the show today. Thank you for staying with us all through, and see you all tomorrow. Bye.